And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today we're taking a look at Fox's Party. This is a small game from Zoc, and this game, essentially, you are going to say, my card is higher, lower, or the same. It's a guessing game with a bit of memory thrown in, but it's mostly a guessing game. It's a very, very short game. The box says on here, I don't know what it says in here, 10 minutes. That's the upper limit of this game. Nice pictures, but is the game fun? Here it is. In this game, each player is going to get a deck of 12 cards that's placed in front of them, and one card is turned up and placed in the middle of the table. Now, this card here shows all the animals that are in the game. The bear, the deer, the fox, the hedgehog, the frog, the snail, and the ant. The bear is the biggest, the ant is the smallest. So on my turn, I'm going to flip the top card of my deck, and I'm going to say whether it is larger than the snail, smaller than the snail, or equal to the snail. So I'll go larger. Alright, deer. Now I can stop after I've turned this deer over. Let's move the snail here. Or I can keep trying to go with the deer. So I'll go, the next one will be smaller than the deer. Great. Now I'm going to say smaller again. Yes, definitely larger. I'll say larger again. Feeling pretty good. Smaller. Nice. Larger. Smaller. Larger. Smaller. Wow. Folks, well, so much for me showing you a typical game. I just won the game on one turn. Now that is likely not going to happen. So let's show you. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I never win these games. All right, let's try it again. We'll go with larger. Okay, definitely got larger. We'll say larger again. All right. Smaller. Good. Smaller. Good. Larger. Got it. Smaller. Smaller. He's the same one. So now when you mess up, and that will often happen when you mess up, unlike my very lucky first game, you'll take all the cards in the order and they go on the bottom of your deck. So you're going to have to either say larger, smaller, or the same. But see, let's say it's my next turn, I say larger. Oh, I'm wrong again. It was the same size. Then on my next turn I say larger. I got it wrong again. It was smaller. Then on my next turn I say larger, smaller. Oh, they're the same size again. Then I say larger. But see, now I should remember the order that they're in because I put them underneath. Do you think I could do the whole thing now? Is my memory good? I'll say larger. No, same size again. Okay, so my memory obviously isn't that good. But that's how the game works, really. You're just going to keep going until someone gets rid of their 12 cards. If someone stops, let's say I had said larger and then same size, and I stopped, we put those cards there, and it's the next player's turn. So essentially, you're just trying to guess what card comes next, but after a while, you'll probably have your deck memorized. Alright, this game's super simple. In fact, I know that a game came out earlier this year. This game is a couple years old. Fox's Party, I think, originally came out in 2011. The game that came out this year, Hogger Logger, which had a bit more randomness and take that. This is just very simple. You turn the card over and you're right or wrong. Now, you saw my very super lucky win there, and that's the first time I've ever seen it happen. And, you know, usually it's pretty obvious, right? If I'm using the snail, there's only one thing less in it, so I should pick higher. But you're never sure, and you mess up, or, you know, there's a bit of that push your luck element to it. Do you want to go farther type thing to it? But also, as you get things wrong, they go underneath your deck, so when you hit them again, hopefully you have it memorized. That's why I'm saying this is like a 6-7 minute game. However, every testing that I've done with this, everyone has really enjoyed it. Now, if it went longer, I think people would have a problem with it, right? But just as kind of a quick filler, hey, let's play this, 12 cards per person, boom, boom, boom. I mean, if you're playing with fewer players, you could play with more cards per person. You know, if you're only playing with 2 players, you can play with big giant decks, I suppose. But I think the game is fine as is. Is that worth buying? Well, for an inexpensive price point, if you can find it for that, then I would get it. Something to carry around and say, hey, let's play this before we play our bigger game. In that instance, yeah, sure, it's fun. The artwork is cute. The whole idea, you know, sometimes there's that whenever it's the same, There's a whole bunch. Every time someone says something and flips over, I was like, ah, there's all these gasps and yells. It's kind of the game that people get into. But there's not a lot here beyond that, okay? Realize that going in. I'm not talking about great strategic depth, but I do find it fascinating as time goes by. You're like, ooh, I've seen that card, those 2 cards in a row. Oh, I'm back to the ones I've seen before. How did the order of that go? So a little bit of memory thrown in. That's that. You just watch how it played. You're either going to like it or not, depending on that. You decide. For me, I like it as a filler. Dice Tower Judgment, approved!
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.